Good afternoon to all. I am really very much thankful to Sangeeta Lodha and the entire team of WPF for giving me this particular opportunity to speak on this particular occasion on a topic which is really very close to my heart, that's human milk banking. Just like all the team members of WPF who are really very close to me, we are all connecting so nicely through this particular group. And of course, Dr. SHAILAJA, who is the moderator, she is also a very close friend and colleague of mine. So I am going to tell you something about my journey as well as journey of Human Milk Bank in India. The journey of Human Milk Bank, which we all started from bank up to the van. It was indeed not a very smooth way, lot of turbulence, turmoil and lot of efforts which were taken to start and reach what we have reached today. First, remember that every neonate is born with a hope and a message that God is not yet disappointed with man. And Ma, at whose breast humanity is nourished and civilization is cultured. So remember, milk from the Human Milk Bank cannot match the mother's own milk. Mother's own milk is the best for the baby, and milk from the Human Milk Bank is just secondary option for the baby. Now, breast milk is a nutritive, emotional and intellectual link between mother and her baby, we all know, and it is impossible to bring about humanization of animal milk no matter whatever is the advancement of technology. Even to the brain, the breast milk stem cells do transfer to organs of offspring. This breast milk stem cell transfer from mother to offspring appears to be more than just a random event, potentially contributing important developmental attributes. Future research must concentrate on how this phenomena can be salvaged medically, for example, to help a preterm infant survive and develop optimally. Now, if you go to the scenario, though we all know that breast milk offers lot of protection to the baby, but still our neonatal mortality, infant mortality, rural as well as urban, we have not reached a single digit number like Sri Lanka. Now, what are the problems for breastfeeding? Now, most of the time it is the overcrowded government hospital. You can see the photo of Sassoon Hospital PNC ward. It's just like a CST terminus station. The lack of trained lactation consultants and counselors, they are not there in the government hospitals and medical colleges. There is a delay in the early initiation of the breastfeeding, mostly because of the atmosphere in the labor room, which is not child friendly. There is a need for having child friendly labor room if at all we want to initiate breastfeeding in the labor room itself. Now, most of the hospitals and the state, they have the policy of discharge within 48 hours for normal delivery. Only Rajasthan government does not follow this rule, and they discharge when the mother is confident to feed the baby on the breast. Lot many misconceptions are there among the general population. The promotion of breastfeeding which has to be done, it is not proper, just like Juhi Chawla advertising Kesh Kanti and her husband is bald. Now, time constraints, passion, patience among the healthcare givers, that is also not there, and that results into lot many problems in breastfeeding. Gender bias, though we are all speaking much more about women empowerment and all, still in many of the states in our country, gender bias is persisting. Mostly the second or the third female child, most of the time is the neglected lot, and the breastfeeding is not practiced. Female feticide is still rampant in our country, and there are many problems for breastfeeding because of gender. Next slide. Now, breastfeeding needs to be glorified and only Bollywood people and other elite class has nowadays started glorifying the pregnancy. Diya Mirza, her extreme preterm baby was fed on milk from the human milk bank. Kareena Kapoor is the first person who started glorifying the pregnancy like anything. But among the common women, pregnancy as such is not glorified and not much importance is given to the mother when she is pregnant. And breastfeeding and advice and counseling for the breastfeeding has to be given right from the antenatal period, which is not practiced in many parts of our country. Now, the WHO UNICEF gave a joint resolution in 1980 where it is not possible for the biological mother to breastfeed. The first alternative, if available, should be the use of human milk from other sources. Human milk banks, therefore, should be available in appropriate situations. Now, go back to previous. What's human milk bank? By definition, it is an institution established for the purpose of collecting, screening, processing, storing and distributing donated human milk that is dispensed to recipients who are not the biological offsprings of the donor mothers. The origin of the human milk bank, it is not new. It is mentioned in our ancient mythology. Yashoda Maya, she was a wet nurse to Devakinandan Gopala, Lord Krishna. Pannadhai was a wet nurse to Raja Udham Singh. The concept of wet nurses was existent right from the 17th century. Now, if you go to the history of milk bank, the first official milk bank was opened in Vienna at the outset of 20th century. In Boston, 1911, another milk bank started. First milk bank in UK in 1937, in USA 1947. After the First World War, formula feeds gained popularity and then only 3 functional milk banks were existing in early 70s. With increasing scientific data supporting the nutritional and immunological superiority of the breast milk, the demand for donated human milk increased and the human milk bank once again gained popularity. Now, worldwide list of the human milk banks, I am given the list. In India, right now as it stands, we have 117 human milk banks. Now, this is a milk bank data of India. Just you have to click and you get an Excel sheet. Now, what are the challenges and the constraints for starting the human milk bank? There is no separate budget allocation as such. Now recently in government of Maharashtra, in government of Rajasthan and in government of Tamil Nadu, the state government has separately allocated a budget, but before that it was not there. Now when it comes through donors, they provide only one-time grant and the annual maintenance contract of the equipment and all then becomes a big problem. We do not have a separate sanctioned staff for the human milk bank. In Rajasthan government, they have created 9 sanctioned posts for working in human milk bank, but in other places it is still not there. Very difficult to get experienced people. Coordination problems are there between hospitals and standalone human milk banks. The running cost of the human milk bank is most of the time not provided in the budget, and for the proper functioning of the human milk bank, 3 departments are essential, that is OBGY, microbiology, pediatrics, and along with that community medicine department. Now if there are any interdepartmental ego problems, then the functioning of the human milk bank is totally paralyzed. There are certain ethical issues like kinship or relations that bar marriage. In some of the communities, it is taken that if the 2 offsprings are getting the milk from the same mother, then they are brother and sister. And so this happened in Bangladesh when human milk bank was started, but the religious leaders stopped functioning of the human milk bank. In Singapore, the problem was there, but then they sorted it out by releasing a Jahir Fatwa, and this particular fact was told to them that who is receiving the milk from the milk bank, that will be told to the parents before they are getting married. So that problem was solved in Singapore. We do not have the hazard analysis and the critical control point certification, HACCP, which is not there right now for our milk banks in India. We are not taking any FDA approval as we are taking it for the blood banks. Now, we consider in India, human milk is considered as a nutritive supplement, but actually milk is a tissue fluid. So, safety issues are many. Now, I will share some of the success stories because challenges will be there for starting any human milk bank. Now, when triplets and twins they are delivered in the hospital, milk from the human milk bank definitely helps them and creates lot of positive vibrations among the students as well as